My name's Chris.
And I'm Kristie.
This is the Washing Up Podcast, or should I say, the Holiday Hootenanny.
Hell yeah.
It's Holiday Hootenanny 2, Electric Boogaloo. It definitely is. Obviously, the Great Canadian Baking Show holiday special happened.
It did, and it was glorious. And to make it even more glorious, we've tracked down and secured and tied to their seats and forced in front of a Zoom several, actually all of the contestants.
Of them. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Andrei, Nataliia, Raufikat and Vince. How are we going?
Woohoo!
Great. There's no standing on ceremony here, guys. It's just noise. I said I have warned everybody beforehand. We're going to do a lot of praising of everybody here, and I'm going to open it up by saying that I said to Kristie after watching the episode that, first of all, it's about as close to an all-star episode as we've seen in any format of Bake Off.
Yeah, it's also making us reconsider our Commonwealth Games.
Yeah, we don't want to do that now
because we're very intimidated.
We don't think so. And also, we were thinking about it while we were watching it, and it's genuinely probably 4 of what we consider to be the best 5
in the whole world
that we've seen on any version of Bake Off. So this was really awesome for us to watch. So
thank you.
Thank you to the 4 of you for doing it.
Thank you for having us.
That's so kind of you.
It was really.
I'm not the 5th, right?
No, you're not the 5th. No. Let's pretend and tell Steve that he's the 5th, and he can pretend and he can.
There you go.
He'll look right now. I know him. He will be clapping and cheering the fact he just got mentioned on a podcast, so it's all good. He definitely will be. So, this is also us correcting wrong.
Yes.
Because we worked out that we've actually only had Vince on the podcast.
So we do apologize.
We've had people in clip form for Virgies, but yeah. Sorry.
What are you sorry about? I'm not even sure what you're sorry about.
You're the only one we've had on.
We failed to have
Yeah, it tends to happen with winners. It's very difficult. It's very difficult at the end of the season to sort the interviews out.
Although I feel like we've had a soul connection, Raufikat, because I keep thinking that we've had you on the podcast, and it's like, no, Chris.
I honestly think sometimes I'm like, am I sure I haven't been on?
Maybe I might have been.
But you were on the Virgie.
Yes,
everyone here is multiple Virgie winners, so even if they don't know it, they're Virgie winners. But so we'll start. Actually, I'll start with Nataliia, because it was really good. First of all, to get to see you come back on there. Was it something that was really easy when they sort of asked you?
What is easy for me?
Yeah, was it easy for you to when they said, "Do you want to do this?" Was it a yes, or was it a?
For me, I was when I was watching special after, actually that's when it started, when it was season 3, right? Then they started special, holiday special, and it was so cool watching bakers from previous seasons. I was like, oh, maybe one day I will be there too. But I was like, no, probably they won't pick the winners.
Yeah.
And then people were asking me, Nataliia, did they ask you to come? I was like, no, I think because we already won, people who won, they won't go. And then this year, my producer called me, like, hey, Nataliia, I'm just calling because we want you to come for holiday special. I was actually surprised, and I didn't know what to say, and because my life is kind of busy right now with all of the stuff that's happening with my family in Ukraine, and I didn't actually think too long. I said yes, and then after I said yes, I thought, do I need to go? Do I have that time to prepare? But it's like I already said yes, so
I was like, is this time management wise?
But first of all, I was really happy to be there and see everyone, all the crew, all the people, and especially to bake with Andrei, Vincent, and Raufikat. That was something I never even dreamed about, because it was. I didn't even think about that. One day I will be baking with the winners. so it was kind of, so it was scary, and also I wanted to do it. But yes, I knew that I will go there, and I will probably I won't be prepared as much as I could if it was normal time for me. But I really wanted to be there. It was like coming back home.
Yeah.
Aw. And Vincent, you were like the latest baker, like the latest winner. So you're coming into the shed with like was it, how intimidating was it when you knew who you were baking against? It's basically what, like, how many bricks did you shit? I don't know if you have that expression in Canada.
Oh,
but-
yes, we do.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes, we definitely have shit. Well, I got the phone call from Michael, and he said, "Hey, what are you doing?" Blah blah blah, and I said, "Oh, so Michael, so why are you calling? Like, do you need a cake or something?" Because I never thought that they would ever ask winners to come back, because I don't know if they've ever done that across the world in all the bake-offs. So it was kind of a surprise. And then he says, "No, I want you to come and do a all winners holiday special." And I was living in a rented space at the time because our renovations. And I sort of sat back for a second, and I kind of went, I don't know. And then I thought, okay, there's been 2 male winners. That's me and Andrei. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I said to him, I don't know if I'm gonna do that. And so he says, "Well, get back to me." So I hung up the phone, and Phil was working at the desk next to me in the apartment. And I told him what was what, and Phil said, "Well, you absolutely have to do this. I mean, this is a lifetime opportunity." And I said, "Okay." So I called Michael back, and I agreed to do it. And quite honestly, I sort of thought, well, I don't have a kitchen. I don't have any practice baking, but we have a few months. I'll work it out. And at that point, I sort of knew that let's just go in there and just have a lot of fun, and that's it. No expectations. I already got a cake plate, and I'm happy with that. I would like to have 2.
I'll ask Andrei what that's like in a minute, but it's like you turned around and went, "Fetch me my baking ring." I do love the concept of a baking ring too. That was fantastic. This is the baking one. This is not the real one. Now, Andrei, for you, it was really interesting because Bruno was it. Everyone else was new.
That's right. Yes, that's right. I had never met Kyla before, and I didn't know the hosts, the comedy hosts at all either. So it was, exactly. It was only Bruno. No, of course there are a whole bunch of people on the production staff who I knew.
Yes.
So that is, those are a lot of people that we interact with, and it's very important because you develop a relationship with them, and they're all they're super professional, and they work really hard to make everything go as smoothly as possible for us. So I thought, well, at least that part is covered off.
Was it nice when the food team just went your usual Andrei and just whipped out like the flour and the the eggs that you prefer and got your vanilla extract?
Well, it's actually kind of interesting because you can when you submit all of your ingredients, you can ask basically for anything you want, and they'll get it for you. I had to get this from one of the panettone that I made. I had to get this nuclear yeast that would rise in time, and I was able to buy it at a grocery store a couple of years ago by accident in Vancouver, and then I've never seen it again. And then I had to buy it on Amazon, and I said I need this yeast, and they said, "Oh no, we can't get it." And so I thought, "Oh, I'll have to see if I can get it." But then when I showed up, they had got it for me. I mean, it's amazing.
So basically, food team acts like a recipe finder.
Now, Raufikat, heading back into that tent, were you like, "Bitches, I've hosted my own show. Move over."
I've made and cook.
Was it full diva mode? What was
I
your-
was not in diva mode at all. And I had an idea of who I was going to be baking with, so I was very, very intimidated. But when Michael called and was like, we're doing an all-winner special, I was like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. And I hung up, I was like, oh shit, what have I done? And then I went and told my husband, like he was in the living room, I was in the bedroom, because that's where my home office is. So I went to the living room, I was like, I've done something. And I was like, yeah, it's fine. Just go there and have fun. I was like, you're not the one that's going to be practicing and baking and cleaning up. It's going
He's like,
to
but
be
I'll be the
me.
one eating
And I
the
was like, no.
practices.
I love that. I've done something.
He doesn't even do that.
It's more like the history of things that he might have done. He's like, what, did you bring a new kitten home? Did you
Yes, exactly. Did you adopt a child? What happened? What did you do?
So in terms of like going in there, and like I said, we're not going to break it down challenge by challenge. It's a far more general conversation. Was this something where I think you felt like it was, well, this is our chance to just try something, do something a bit different, just sort of throw stuff out there? Or was this very much, no, I must be very methodical? I mean, Vince, obviously methodical. I was looking at the bench to see the spreadsheet because I know you would have had a spreadsheet. But like for everyone else, was it sort of something where it excites you in terms of it's an opportunity to try something and really sort of push the boat out a bit? Anyone can.
Well, Andrei probably. It's always like that. He has these incredible ideas in his head, and it comes to life. It's just amazing how his brain works. I can't imagine. Right?
Well, I mean, the first thing I thought of after I had decided that I accepted Michael's knowledge of going on the show was that I was thinking, well, I can't do something that I have done before, because the audience would be expecting something better from all of us. And so
I can't do a pianola because it's too close to a piano.
So it's actually kind of funny because this is like for real. On the show, you hear Kyla ask me. I said that I was doing these flooded sugar cookies, and I don't do them because I don't make cookies. I don't decorate cookies. I don't eat cookies. And she said, "Isn't that funny that you could have chosen anything that you wanted, and yet you chose something that you've never done before?" And I thought, why did I choose that? And
it's something that other people make quite frequently that they can judge you harshly on.
Well, I guess it's just because part of what we're doing is we're trying to make a show that is interesting, and so if I pulled it off, then it's good, and if it was a big disaster, that would make equally good television. So
it was either going to be amazing or creme caramels. I mean, either or. It's
not Vincent's creme caramels.
Not Vince's one. But no, it was when Kyla said that to you, I turned around to Kristie and went, "That just feels Andrei." Like, and because it's something, why are you doing something you've never done before? And I'm just like, Andrei, just go see what happens. It was
Yep. Oh no, you go.
No.
I'm a bit tired, so I think I have a question. And it's been for the past 2 weeks, I have not been able to get to sleep till 2 a.m. It's just this weird, random thing going on. The weather's crazy here in Sydney. Like, it'll be really hot, and then it'll be really humid, and then we'll maybe get a storm, and then it'll get cold, and then it'll get hot again. It's just nuts.
It can't make up its mind.
Speaking of weather, Raufikat, when you said, I come from a tropical country, and I've gone, Canada's not tropical. I could be wrong.
Originally.
I don't know. The pavilion at filming time of year is quite tropical.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's an incredibly tropical climate.
So lucky.
Yeah, it's an incredibly tropical climate at that point of year.
But we were so lucky because it was not 40 degrees like it can be at
like it
that
had
time
been
of
in
year.
the weeks before when the series was happening and people were going.
Yeah, yes, it was. Yeah.
Was it just heading on to fall at the time of filming, or?
No. It was just a random cool week, which was like such a gift. I can't believe it. We actually got to wear long pants. Because I did anyway.
It
Yeah.
is what it is.
I was wearing shirts and in
Yes.
the morning it was cold.
Yeah.
Welcome to
It was cool.
Christmas in Australia, where you sweat your tits off
Yeah.
and pretend it's still cold outside. What?
Oh.
But
You're being you.
going back to the question, your question about people about us challenging ourselves. I think that everybody did that. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
Everybody else that we didn't do stuff that we just like pulled out from things that we would have done for the show because I think that we're all of us are the type of bakers that always want to try something new and experiment. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I think
totally
so that
agree.
even for my bake for the showstopper, in a normal like life, I would make that a house. Like when I was practicing, I would spend at least 2 days because I would dry it perfectly, then I would decorate it, then it would be stable enough. But I took a risk because I didn't know if it will fall apart and or if it will stay there. Because then I made those choux pastry and I couldn't just keep them on a counter. I had to put them in the fridge. So I put them in the fridge with that gingerbread house, which wasn't dry enough.
Yeah.
And I was worried that it will just fall apart. And it was a really big risk.
Can I just say as well,
to...
the finish texture on those walls was absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
Like the way that texture worked on those white walls. So it looked, as they said, like a weathered, painted old building. It was just sublime.
But if it was like normal time, I would spend at least 2 days to make it perfect, to build it perfectly so I could give it as a gift to someone and it would be very strong to...
How did you get that texture, Nataliia?
Oh, so I was playing with a lot of stuff. I was doing it by hands, but then I because I have so many different tools for sugar paste and stuff. It's like I have that press special for the for sugar paste. It's like I'll try that. So I tried that and it worked. I was like, wow, why didn't I think? And it was like last minute. I was like,
it was very cool.
It works. It worked for me. Yeah.
Speaking of very cool, the ube, I love the color of ube. And so like just that neon purple that you got, Vince, just it looked so cool. It was one of my favorite shots was just you starting to stir it and it's just neon purple.
It was really purple. And it was it was quite delicious. I was very proud of that bake. There were a lot of things that went wrong with it behind the scenes, but it was it turned out just fine at the end of it all.
Yeah. I think for a lot of us,
I look over at Andrei and he's like pulling sugar and it's just like, oh God, you gotta give me a break.
that reaction of yours in the episode was brilliant where you look over and I was like, you're killing me over here, Andrei. But no, like it was again like the idea of sort of, and it fits in very much with the way everybody baked in their series. Like it was very much a reflection of the way that people baked in their individual series as well. And like with you, for example, like Vince, we've joked about it a few times, but like your showstopper in the grand final,
extra,
where the extra of I'll just do a creme caramel on top because it's a perfect topper.
Whereas your signature Raufikat was nice and deep, so we're like, that's extra generous, like just how can we shove more in?
Like it was very reflective, and like I absolutely loved the what you had inside that the box Raufikat. They looked absolutely delicious.
Thank you.
So coming for like using pineapple and stuff, was that were people like, oh no, you can't do that in a holiday thing, when us in Australia are going, yeah, more pineapple?
Well, that's why I was like, okay, I'm from a tropical country originally, and like I'm notoriously picky about fruit. Pineapple is my favorite fruit. So like nobody could talk me out of using pineapple for that thing. Like I was going to use it no matter what.
We hear that there's someone in Australia currently using, what are they, fermenting pineapples to make the
they're making the fermented pineapple drink.
Chris was just telling me about it, and that's just reminding.
Yes,
the Mexican one. Yes,
yeah. So they live too far away. Otherwise, I would be asking for some.
Yeah,
drink.
so that's it's America's sweetheart himself, Aaron from Australian Bake
There we
Off, is
go.
making tepache at the moment. And I did get the sentence of my tepache is fizzin', which is what a sentence to wake up to in a message. It's a brilliant sentence. So in terms of just in general chats, baking and holidays for you guys, how different, what sort of things do you traditionally make around this time of year? Is there anything that's a bit stand out, a bit different, or is it sort of what you would consider more traditional type bakes? We'll start with Vince this time.
Well, I think that every Christmas we go to my family's, my brother's house for Christmas, and I generally bring the dessert. And I suppose that the things I bring since the show have had to be a little bit more spectacular. not oh, here's a cheesecake, enjoy. But not that there's anything wrong with cheesecake. But nowadays it's more like, okay, if we're gonna do a Yule log, then it's gotta have like little piped pandas sleeping all over it, or last year I made a croquembouche for the first time, and it becomes like that now.
Nice.
So this year might be a little bit more reserved. I'm just getting used to our new kitchen, so it's I'm just feeling things out a bit. I don't do anything like crazy out of the ballpark like I would do the tent, right?
Yeah.
In the tent, doing stuff that, first of all, we're being asked to make things that, crazy. Why would anybody cookie box? But to house a cookie or a big gift, but we're asked to do that, and we do it because we have to do it. But at home, we don't have to do that stuff.
Or like, ancient Chinese wisdom and baking techniques.
Vince getting to drag out his humor
via San Francisco. Oh, yeah. Brilliant.
I don't know, Raufikat, what about you? Is there anything traditionally at this time of year that you make, or?
So baking around the holidays, it became a thing for me when we moved to Canada. It wasn't really a thing back home in Nigeria. But when we moved to Canada, and I saw like everyone around me is like the holidays. And I felt like I had to make it special for the people around me. So for instance, the teachers at my kids' school, instead of giving them gift cards, I made them chin chin, a Nigerian snack, one year. And then after that, I decided, okay, I could do this every holiday. So I started the tradition of baking different kinds of cookies and hot chocolate bombs, and then posting it out to my friends and family in the US and all over Canada. And it's like become a thing now. This is December the 2nd, and I can already hear everyone's thoughts, like when our holiday is coming, our holiday cookies are coming soon. I can hear everyone's thoughts. No one is asking yet, but I know everyone is waiting for me to say your package is in the mail.
Have you done it?
Yeah,
so I've made this pumpkin spice fufu for you. Like, is that?
No. My holiday bakes tend to be traditional cookies, basically, and like I said, hot chocolate bombs. But I do like to experiment with hot chocolate bombs. Last year I had ruby hot chocolate. I had matcha. Sorry,
I had some.
I had matcha latte hot chocolate bombs. I had Mexican spice.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also did like raspberry and vanilla cookies and chocolate chip cookies and stuff like that. So nothing too crazy, just like here, enjoy this traditional.
Anyway, after she's mentioned matcha, we don't need to ask Raufikat another question. We can move on.
If I can just cut in for a second, and I hope you don't mind me saying this, Raufikat, but we had the pleasure, for whoever was at my home, all the bakers that were at my home a couple of years ago, I guess now, Raufikat brought these Nigerian meat patties. Oh my God. They are like heaven on earth. If you ever have a chance, that is what you want to have. It's up there with with the panettone from Andrei. It's just
I
crazy.
have
So good.
heard from other bakers that were at Vince's house who raved about them too. So I have heard about these.
Mhm.
Oh, insane. So good.
Thank you. Thanks, Vince.
So look, we'll forgive her for the matcha thing.
Yeah.
Somebody did make
Thank
mention
you.
of yuzu as well before, not on this chat, but before. So she's hitting all my buttons. She's pushing all my buttons.
I'm winding him up that I'm heading to a friend's house
Yeah,
after
she's
this.
leaving me
so-
alone to cope with it all. Nataliia, how about you? Is there anything like more traditional that you bake or?
Oh, traditional. I don't know. Since I moved to Canada, I started baking more. And I've been baking all my life since I was 5, but more like cookies and cakes I started baking when I moved to Canada. So every year I try to bake at least 4 different cakes. Then I cut them in 4 pieces. Then I arrange 4 different, like 4-quarter cakes, I call them.
Mhm.
And then I can give away to my friends. Also I bake a lot of different cookies. One of them rugalish, like with jam and sprinkled with sugar. Probably Andrei knows them. Those are my first cookies I ever made. When I was 5, I learned how to make them, and I still love them. Those are my favorite cookies. Then I make walnut shaped cookies with dulce de leche and walnuts inside. That's another
Yeah,
cookies probably Andrei knows. And also I try baking different kind of cookies. Then I make cookie boxes to give away as well. And just before Christmas I try to bake a lot of gingerbread cookies and sugar cookies to decorate. So every day after work, I come home when I have like 1 or 2 hours, I decorate a few cookies, like with little gnomes and stuff like that, like the Christmas style cookies. And then I can put them on top of those quarter cakes or decorate the cakes with those cookies. So it's something that makes my life more Christmassy during December. Making cookies. Yeah, cookies
It's
and
the time of
cake.
year to do it. It's genuinely time of year to do it. And it's always nice, especially when you've got those recipes of you've got something that you learn to make. Like there's a shortbread, it's a quick mix shortbread recipe that's been in the family for since my mother got it out of a magazine in the 1970s. But that doesn't matter because it's to this day I can make it off the top of my head and I know it will work. And I know it's a guaranteed everyone will love it. And it's really simple and it's really straightforward. So
it's even better when I suggested he put some actual heather into it because double Scott.
Oh,
yes, it was double silver.
Yum.
Yes, but they put heather in it.
Yeah.
Andrei, anything that you particularly this time of year or
Pianos to everyone.
guitars?
Our family comes from Eastern European Orthodox tradition, and Easter is the big baking holiday. Christmas is not really a big deal. And so when my parents moved to Canada just before I was born, well, they just kind of absorbed stuff from other cultures, and so we just kind of made up our own traditions. And at one point a long time ago, like this is way before I was started doing anything like the kind of baking that we all do now, but I made shortbread cookies. That was my big thing, shortbread, because my mother had this Scottish friend who gave us the recipe. So that was our thing. And then after I got much more into baking, especially after the baking show, I was just, you kind of look around to find out what are the best things from other cultures to bake for Christmas and just choose to do those. Like I lived in Italy briefly. I was studying Italian for a while when I was doing a little tangent for an opera career, and I thought panettone. I'd like to see if I can make a panettone, and I had it took me a lot of tries before I was successful, but and then bûche de Noël. I mean your Yule log. So I do those. And also so just like Vincent, I seem to be alternating between the bûche de Noël and the croquembouche for fancy Christmas.
I like the casual.
dinner.
Just between the two, just the casual flip. A croquembouche or a bûche Noël, combine them and do like a Croquembouche Noel.
Oh, I hadn't thought about that. A Croquembouche Noel.
I know a croque Noel, and it's in the shape of a crocodile.
That's suddenly become Australian.
You just go at it with a frying pan. I don't know if you've seen that guy who just bucket up a crocodile with a frying pan.
But that's a very sort of something that we sort of appreciate in Australia, as you sort of have a bit of an understanding of, Andrei, especially because, you know, having family here.
Raufikat would also understand, but with the heat in Nigeria, you can't do
Yes.
But it's
the
also
Western
that
Christmas.
But it's also that taking on of multiple strands and multiple.
Sure. Yeah.
That's very much, and we've talked a lot over the years when we've done this podcast. We've talked a lot about Australian food is more an amalgam of a bunch of different concepts, and it's changed over the years with, first of all, an acceptance of the fact that Australia is part of Asia, and an acceptance that that is a thing, and we are.
I think that was mainly pushed by the awesome food.
Yes, well, that was
we all just kind of accessed as kids.
Access to food, access to that sort of thing, and also things that fit the climate more. We've talked a lot, and we've talked previously about the fact that Australian Christmases traditionally were
seafood.
Traditionally were the roast ham, the roast turkey, roast everything, and the veggies. And it doesn't work on a 43-degree day to have a kitchen where everyone is roasting everything and then bringing all the hot food out. So seafood makes more sense. We've seen a lot more influence of Asia as well, coming in with, you know, more like salads and those sorts of things moving in. So, and it's one of the things I like about, you know, Christmas time in Australia is there is no traditional Australian Christmas food. It's a mixture of all sorts of things.
But I want to know, what's a bake or something that someone in your family makes that you look forward to or that you miss them bringing to a holiday or event? No. Yeah.
I just miss my family. I didn't see my family for 4 years, and I'm just dreaming that next year I will celebrate Christmas together.
Well, I really
because
hope...
I miss my parents' Christmas food so much, and I can't cook it like them. I'm not a bad cook, but it's not the same. Still, my mom is making those poppy seed hand pies, and usually the poppy seed rolls, and it's truly traditional for Ukrainian Christmas. And actually, those donuts that we made for the technical, I'm not a donut person, and I didn't know they're supposed to be flipped, so I was baking them like Ukrainians bake those puffs for Christmas. That was so funny. Anyway, so yeah, and I'm missing that too. So it just the thing that I can't really spend time with my family. Yeah,
I really hope that happens. Like, I know many people.
But yeah, anyway, we will try to do it ourselves this time because I have my nieces and my sister-in-law, so we will try to bake something that my parents bake.
Now, I think last time we did a holiday Hootenanny, I think, Vince, you had the mention of a food that got the most coverage, which, you know, again, your mother's recipe. That was, I've never heard from more people going, I need that recipe. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty delicious. So we're talking about the Hootenanny roast turkey that my mom made, the sweet hoisin gravy. It is pretty epic. And you know, I've mentioned that before. That's definitely something that luckily I don't have to miss because my mom taught me how to make it. So that's fantastic. I make it every year almost, at least once a year. But something that my sister had brought up, not to sound like I only have my one-trick pony or anything. So something that my sister brought up, asked me the recipe for it, I knew how to make. My mom used to make this shrimp dish that is basically, you take shrimp and you slice it down the back and so that it coils. And then you coil a piece of scallion and a piece of Chinese sausage inside the shrimp. Then you cover the whole thing in beaten egg with a little bit of spices, and you lay it on a plate. And then when you put it into fry oil, it all flares out like just this webbing of egg and shrimp and sausage and scallions. And then you make this simple gravy and you pour it on top. My mom used to call it in Chinese, in English, it would be called like angel shrimp. And that is something that I could never master. She showed me a couple of times, and mine came out like, it always comes out like an omelet. I don't know how she ever.
You make demon shrimp.
So my sister asked me for that recipe, and I said I don't know how to do it.
I come to the Christmas episodes just to get more recipe ideas from Vince.
Yeah,
it's literally these episodes. You've got to be on every Christmas special.
If I ever figure it out, I will definitely let you know.
And Raufikat, have you got anything in terms of recipes from others?
Nothing really. Like Nataliia, I haven't seen my parents in almost 5 years, and like I said, I'm very picky about food. So one of the things I miss the most is my mom catering to my little whims. You know, like making sure that there's this little special thing because Raufikat doesn't eat this. I'm going to keep this one aside for her, or I'm going to make her different or make her special. I really, really miss that, and that's like I don't miss anything specifically. I just miss like the little things that show that she's thinking of what I want and what I like, you know. That's basically what I miss the most right now.
Oh, that's beautiful. And it is that whole love through food that is just so universal. Or yeah, I miss my mum's trifle. Like, I should have learned how to make it. It includes like custard, but she'd make it super thick
and boozy
and very boozy.
Not as boozy as the pudding that she made.
No. The Christmas cake, she'd usually start soaking the mixed fruit in October. So occasionally you couldn't drive for at least a couple of hours after having a Christmas cake.
And that was one of the things I did appreciate, though. Like this, when Nataliia, when you were like, oh, you know, I mean, Santa's got to go around. I don't know if he needs the booze. Cut to Andrei going, so there's booze in this.
Yes.
There's lots of
Sorry, Andrei.
At least someone put booze in.
Yeah. Did we ask you was there anything that from your family or, you know, friends that you enjoy at this time of year or miss or?
You're asking me?
Yeah.
Yes. Let's see. Well, whenever our family gets together, everybody kind of expects me to do all the food stuff. So I end up having to do essentially everything. Now, my mother is 92, and she is capable of cooking. She just doesn't want to anymore. She's kind of like, I'm 92. I don't cook anymore.
You've got 2 cake plates. I mean,
she's raised a very capable son.
There is actually one thing. She has one specialty. It's not really a Christmas thing, but it's like any kind of a celebration thing, and that is it's a salmon pie called kulibiaka. And
yum.
that I actually adapted her recipe for the hand pie challenge that we had in season 2
when you were the machine.
So I had of course we had to make 24 of them or something like that. It was some ridiculous amount in a very, very short time. And so I thought, well, you know what, since it is my mother's recipe, I should go to my mother's place and I should make it in front of her so that she can tell me, because the dough was very special. So like this very odd pastry made with sour cream and yeast. And but anyway, so it's very, very, very delicious. But so I went there and I was following the recipe, and I was saying, okay, this pastry is way too loose. Like this is not pastry. So my mother says, oh, I always add a little bit extra flour. So I said, well, like how much? And she said, well, like about a cup. That's not a little bit. So I thought, you know what? I think that I will just take your notes here and I'm going to make up my own pastry recipe.
I'm going to redo this.
You
But
mum
anyway,
had-
no, that is so that yeah, so but that recipe was inspired from my mother's specialty recipe.
And by the way, just on that, it is madness you were given 2 hours to do 24 of those. It's just saying, it was absolute madness.
I know. It was, yes. I had never been able to make them all in the time in practice. And because you know whether or not you're going to make it, because the last thing you have to do, of course, is bake them. And so I was looking at my watch and I threw them in the oven and I thought, you know what? I have 2 minutes to spare. I'm actually going to make it.
This. It is actually another thing sort of that I find really interesting about, and it's a development not just with Canadian, but with all the different series as well, is that the amount of time that you're given for challenges. There's been a bit more of a rethink, I think, and wisely, on let's not make it so it's really fine on getting those done. Because nowadays you wouldn't be given 2 hours to make 24 hand pies.
You'd be given 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Yeah, you get the extra 20 minutes, obviously, for the rolling. That would be, they'd allocate 20 minutes for rolling. I did like that we got one of the best bake-off tropes, which was that you all just got told to make jam and make pastry cream. I did like that. And look, Bruno was right. He's like, they've all won. They should know how to do this.
Okay, hold
I
on.
wasn't say anything, Vince, but now you've done it. Let's go.
When I hear jam, yes, especially strawberry jam, there should be strawberries in jam. If you want jelly, ask me for jelly.
And
I don't
if you want strawberries on, and if you want strawberry stems on top of your donuts, then go to Vince. That was,
like I said online, it seemed like a great idea at the time.
as a decorating decision goes, that was certainly one. I loved what I loved about it was you had the strawberry sliced and sitting, and then just the one with the end.
Okay, you know why I did that is because I thought, it'll be funny. And secondly, it was either that or it was the tip of the bottom of the strawberry, and it would have been like a quarter, no, less than a quarter of an inch in a disc, right? So they would have fried me on that. So I might as well just like the stem was much bigger than the tip.
Steer into the skid, Vince. Steer into the
I do appreciate that your cheekiness was like bake-off level appropriate. Like, you know, the chestnuts roasting on the open fire. All of it is appropriately naughty. And yes, you
I had to run that by a number of people to sort of ask them if that was a bit much, because you should have saw some of the other things that I wrote. Because they were definitely not CBC appropriate.
Is there someone on the phone to practices and standards just going, so we've got this one? No, okay, we can't use that.
They're like, look, he's back.
You know what? I didn't tell anybody or show anybody what I wrote for the show.
He's back. Have we got the file?
And they kept on coming to me and asking me, so Vince, what does this say? And I said, well, you'll see. And then they came back, and finally it was like push came to shove. It's like, okay, Vince, you need to show us what this says before we go on.
Holiday special.
It's funny with this if they just go on air.
Of course.
So
and now you need to do the naughty or nice, like fortune cookies for everyone. They all just end up being naughty.
Yeah, there's no nice ones in there for you. It's just Vince.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
But in terms of, it was one of the things that I think, and I've heard from a lot of people this week, over the course of the week, because like we said we were doing this weekend, and I've never had so many people sort of message me and go, it was just so nice to see all of these people back. And that's been one of the, I don't know how it's been for you in terms of hearing from people. I mean, like for example, like Raufikat, have you heard from a lot of people as this has gone on going, it's just so good to see you back in there? Because that's sort of the feedback we've got. We're not there. So
yeah, it was nice to hear that. Yes. Some people were like, it was good to see you on TV again. I was like, yeah, it was good to be back.
Because I mean, again, the last time you were on TV, it was your special thing, of course, which was really cool.
Yeah.
And it was great that you got to have Anne in as like a sous chef as well. That was great.
Yes.
You should have put her to work in the pavilion.
I wasn't allowed.
I taught you. You come in and you go, that was all training. You know what you have to do.
Exactly. Over here right now.
Was that the same for everyone? Did everyone sort of get that flood of people going, oh my God, it's so good?
I got a lot of messages saying it was great to see all of us and how this was the best show. Even if it was just one episode, it was the best of all of the years of Bake Off, which is or the baking show, which was really nice to hear. I mean, I don't know if they're blowing smoke up my ass, but that's fine.
They're not.
But the nice thing about it is, in my opinion, it was that each of us brought a different personality to the tent. I mean, there was high talent, humor, sort of beautiful messaging, and just wonderful personality and lovely person. So it was a nice mixture of people, and I had the best time. It was so very different from when I was in the tent during my season, because this time it was just like, let's just have a great time and enjoy it, right? And it was absolutely fantastic, and to be able to bake with like three basically like three legends, it was just a dream come true. I know I have known them. I just met Nataliia this time around, but I've met Andrei before. I've met Raufikat before, and it was, I love them as people, obviously, but to be able to actually share space with them with ovens, that's special.
Yeah, I can agree. It was funny. So when, so because I'm Ukrainian and I have some people from Ukraine who came just this year, and their English is not it's not good enough to understand all of the stuff. So when we posted the first post, like, oh, it's gonna happen on the Sunday, and one of my friends, she's like, I just sent her a link to that post, and she didn't even respond. And then I called her after work. It's like, did you see my message? I sent you a link. She's like, so what? You sent me your picture. It's like, yeah. And then that's from baking show. It's like, did you read the post? No, I have to translate it. It's like, okay. And I was like, can you translate it and tell me why I sent it to you? And the day before, I told her that I have some news for her, like some good news. Like, it's not super important, but it will be like happy news. And then she's like, okay, so no, just translate it for me. So I just like, I am on the, like, I will be on the show again. It will be one episode, and I told her it's gonna be one episode, just the whole day special. It's like, oh, okay. And she still didn't get it. And then it's like, no, but I look at your picture, you look the same. It's like, no, I look older there, and my hair is different. She's like, okay, I have to compare with your old picture. And then she believed me after she compared the pictures. It's like, oh, okay, now I see. When did you film it? It's like, during the summer when I went and I told you I'm going to Toronto for a business trip forever. She's like, oh, so you lied to me. It's like, no, I just kept the secret.
Yeah, no, it was business.
Then when she watched the episode, she's calling me. She's like, and that's it?
You're like, this is fantastic. It's like, that's all.
No, she's like, I thought that will be another show. Like, I told her that's just one.
I just feel sorry for her future children, or if she's got them, she's like, it takes a lot to impress her. Like she gets a picture of Natalia, she's like, she goes
I
again.
thought that was first episode. I was like, no, I told you that's special, holiday special. I was like, oh, I didn't get it.
Asian.
Okay.
Did you say she's like an
I'm
Asian
happy.
hero?
Hard to impress.
So,
That's it.
so funny
You couldn't
because I
get
thought she got it, and then she watched it and she didn't get it still.
She's like, you didn't even
Oh
win.
my God.
Like, you can do better. When's the second episode? When are you
Yeah.
going?
She's like, you lost this one. What?
And
Oh my God.
and not to
She
blow
made
too
my
much,
day.
not to blow too much smoke, Andre, but one of the things I did
Say
hear.
Nataliia needs some smoke.
Yeah, she does. She's downbeaten by this. Not good enough. But one of the things I heard from a lot of people here who is with it, there is an Australian group that listen largely because they've just followed us through the Australian stuff.
There's
And-
not a lot to do in Australia,
No, there's
apparently.
not much. Just follow us. But one of the things I heard from a lot of people, they were like, "Oh my God, Andre, he's back in there." So, like, I'm assuming you heard a lot of people going, "Is it about time?" Or was that?
No, I wouldn't say so.
No?
No, well, I mean, of course, we're bound to secrecy. We can't tell anybody
No, exactly.
about the fact that we're going to be on the show. And so actually, right now, I'm in a house on the top of a mountain because I'm doing high altitude training with my cross country ski racing club.
Of course
And
you
so
are. Nothing surprises me, Andre. Nothing.
Is that all? I want to be Natalia's friend. Oh, okay.
So anyway, so we drove here on Sunday all day, and then we all get here and we all unpack all of our ski gear and everything, and then we all make dinner, and then it's kind of like, okay, well, like the baking show is on. Anybody want to watch? And so so I thought, so we got around the TV and we watched the show, and then and there it was kind of strange, like there wasn't really much reaction afterwards.
You're just getting
No.
pranked. Raufikat, please tell me people in your life showed you some love.
Did they care?
Or did anyone have anyone that was impressed? Just all
Well,
wrong.
I was trying to think, like maybe they just kind of thought somebody said, well, sorry, I have to say this. People just said, well, we just expected you to win anyway, so
Yeah.
it was like a surprise. But I was thinking, why did you say that? Like, you have no idea how hard it was to do any of that stuff that I made on the show. Like, I could have had exploding sugar shards like all over the place. The gingerbread could have just it cracked. Like most of the times when I made it, the thing felt everything, because I was saying, like we were talking about earlier, like go big or go home. I was thinking, okay, I'm gonna try something I've never done before, and like I just figured it. I just had learned how to pull sugar 3 weeks before by watching YouTube videos, and actually it would be really quite funny to take a look at my first attempt at it, because it was like so embarrassing. I just thought, nope, I'm just definitely not doing this. And then I tried it a few more times, and I thought, yeah, maybe I can do it. But it was no, it was because we're making an entertainment.
Yeah. You're like, why not?
And because of the fact that everybody on the show is going to be really good. And okay, so like one thing about this, like Michael, when he called me and he asked me to be on the show, my first reaction was like, are you kidding? I'm gonna have to think about this. And then I thought, well, it would be really wonderful to do something with the other people who are going to be on it. I mean, that's the main reason for doing it. And then the other thing is that you kind of think, well, maybe if I did something that would be worth watching, people might enjoy it. Stretch yourself and try something really hard, and that's what I was trying. I mean, I think I'm really happy that they allowed the two comments at the very end to say that the greatest thing about doing this holiday special was to share the tent with such incredible talent. I mean, really wonderful, wonderful, wonderful people and talented people. I'm just I'm blowing smoke up everybody, but no, really, it was such a wonderful, wonderful experience to do it, and just to see what happens if you just put yourself out on a limb and try something really new. And so that's what it was about for me, and I hope it was the same for everybody else.
Well, I think the thing that
I made a cake.
Yeah, but no, but I mean, it was an extraordinary cake, of course.
Yeah, the thing that Kristie said when we were watching it, which I thought was the most pertinent, was she goes, you can tell these are 4 people that absolutely love baking and just love doing this sort of stuff and put so much into it for different reasons, different types, different things, but the pushing yourself, all those sorts of things.
Raufikat, I have to ask though, because you've got kids, are they now like kind of like, oh, mum's just going off to bake more again, or are they like, yes, mum's baking, we get more treats, like, you know, she needs someone to take taste test? What's their like?
I did like the bit where you said my son doesn't like anything.
He does not. So my family is split down the middle. My daughter and I are like, we love the sweets. We're always planning restaurant and dessert dates and like stuff to bake. And my husband and my son absolutely could not care less about any of that stuff. Like,
Son's Natalia's
like my son is like, yeah, okay, whatever. And my husband, he's not a sweets person. He has never been a sweets person. So my daughter she's really interested. She likes it, but then she also has this kind of expectation, like, okay, so I've had this once, and you need to make something else now because I'm bored with this one. So I make something, and she has it the first day, and it's like, oh, it's so nice. And I'm like, okay, cool. We have desserts for a week, and then the next day I'm like, do you want some more of this cake? And I was like, no, thank you. I want something else now.
I'm done. Do something else. Like, impress me.
Exactly. Impress me. And what she absolutely loves is when I say, okay, critique this. Oh my God, you can see her like beaming, like, yes, I am going to tell you everything that's wrong with this thing.
Please tell me there's someone in your life who is just, you know, bolstering you, or is this just all people who are doing good things?
No, my sisters and my parents, they are like my number one cheerleaders. They're always like, yes, no matter what I do, if I make, what is the most basic thing? If I make a pan of brownies, they would be cheering from the roof, like, this is the best brownie you've ever had.
So everyone ring Raufikat and just get that bit of help. If you need the confidence boost, just ring.
Everyone needs Raufikat's family just to
bolster them up.
Yes.
But
what was nice about the showstopper actually on the show was that we each did such different things. Like there was panettone, there was a cake, there were tarts, and there were choux pastry. So that was we could have made anything, you know, and it was so nice to see that everybody made something so totally different. It was fantastic.
Yeah. And Nataliia, like the way that you did the blue and the yellow, like for the Ukrainian flag in the embroidery look, it was just so beautiful. And I just hope that you know, that is just picked up and I don't know, distributed throughout the Ukraine, just to be more bolstering for, you know.
Yeah, I wanted just it to be a message, like to all Ukrainian, that they can see I think about them and I love them. Yeah, it was one thing that I could do.
As an episode, it's probably the best one I think we've watched ever, and I will say that. And we've watched a lot, just saying. And I did say before, but I'll say it again. I'll say it again to you now. We sort of consider that this is like 4 of the best 5 people that we've seen on Bake Off. So it was an absolute joy and delight to get to see all.
But I will say, we love you all, like not just our top 5, but everyone else. You know, we do. Everyone who's listening, please know that we love and adore you.
We don't actually have a last place in the ring. It's all good. We're
part of Raufikat's family, and
but it was just like, as an experience of watching like high level baking, this was some of the highest level baking I think we've seen. So the fact that everyone brought that was just, I think, for an audience at home, an absolute joy and a delight. And as you know, you all sort of alluded to that idea of helping people to sort of think, maybe I can push myself and do something or try something new. Because that's what it's about, really.
Yeah. I've got one last question. So in my family, because, you know, you had the milk and cookies for Santa. In my family, it was carrots for the reindeer and a beer for Santa, because I think my mum just needed one after setting up for Christmas. Was there any like what do you or what would you leave out for Santa apart from that beautiful cake or beautiful signature, I should say?
I can go first with this one. It's going to be a short one for me. Like I said to the judges, we don't really do Santa and Christmas, and it's like it's been a bit hard for me to kind of reconcile that. My kids are always like, "Why doesn't Santa come to our house?" I'm like, sorry, kids, it's just
Fair enough.
But yeah, we haven't. I don't do that.
All right. Well, if you need a suggestion, beer and carrots apparently are.
It sounds like a plan, yes.
I don't think she ate the carrots. I think. Oh no, Mum would occasionally get one of the carrots and just take a bite out of it to prove that it'd been.
No, the reindeer would eat it.
Yeah, I don't know.
The reindeer would eat it because
The beer was always gone.
the beer was always gone. So it's been an absolute delight to have everybody on. Thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate it. And we really appreciate the fact that you did this special as well. I think everyone really, really enjoyed it. We look forward, hopefully, to speaking to everyone again at some point again in the future, because we really like talking to you all. And it's just a delight to be able to have all of you on. So if there's anything you want to plug, now is the time. We'll go around. Anyone got anything in particular? You can put your hand up. Anything you need to plug, promote, go for it.
Well, I'll be, next week I'll be doing a video for my unveiling of my new kitchen.
Woo!
Oh.
Here we go.
Gonna be on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram. You'll see my new kitchen. That's it for me.
That's worthwhile. Anyone else got anything to promote, plug?
I mean, Nataliia, you're moving. You can unveil a new kitchen.
Oh yeah, no, my kitchen is going to be small, but it's okay. It will be enough for me.
And Andrei is going on a cross-country adventure.
High altitude.
Well, thank you very much.
Maybe we will come to Vince.
Yep.
Oh, sorry, go for it.
No,
So I think maybe we will come to Vince and bake together in his big
that's a
kitchen.
good idea. Well, I mean,
Yes.
from the
I
most
would love
recent.
that.
Actually, wouldn't it be interesting for us to all just try to bake together because we do all bake so differently.
I would
Yeah.
love it.
I don't think I could make any of the stuff that all of you make. So
Well, we're scared of the games.
Oh my goodness. You could do a pass it on challenge where you send one of your recipes and ingredients to someone else to do your recipe and and see how the style that they put on it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I've also made mention of this to a few people, but I'm looking in the new year as well. There might be some Australian baking things heading over to Canada for a few people in the near future. So keep your eyes out for that. Just putting that out there as well. So
Even I don't know about it.
No, even
That's
she doesn't know about that, but I'm planning. I've put some plans in place. And look, with the idea of the kitchen, just quickly, like Niv in the most recent series of Canadian, when she found out she was on Canadian, she was in Australia. And so her test baking, she went over to New Zealand and was touring around New Zealand for a bit and contacted a bunch of Australian bakers and got access to an industrial kitchen in South Australia to practice.
Yeah, because the kitchens in Hobbiton were just shit.
Yeah, they're not great. Hobbiton's kitchens were not great. But yeah, when she came to Australia, they had a brand new industrial kitchen, but no appliances. So somebody loaned like the 1970s appliances from their house for her to practice her baking. So
That would be a real retro week.
It was a real retro week. So anyway, thank you everyone for being on. It's been an absolute delight. Until next time, I'm still Chris.
And I'm still Kristie.
And we'll catch you all later.
Happy holidays.